Down the Line TV, Cindy Doc. It's so great to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while, and it's so good that you've messaged me out of the blue to hopefully give some wise comments about coaching tennis.
Cindy, we've known you for a long time, but we obviously lost touch along the way, and it's great to see that, you know, you were a player on the tour, and obviously we haven't seen each other for probably over, I don't know, I'd imagine 15 years. So how are you doing, and what have you been up to since then?
Yeah, well, I've obviously coached when I stopped playing tennis. So I've been working with my brother for a few years after that.
Yeah.
And then I actually went into the corporate world, into some sports management and, you know, other things like Red Balloon, which is I'm sure you've maybe have heard of that, experience vouchers online and events and things like that. So I've been lucky enough to always keep tennis there. I've always coached on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
So I have been on court this whole time, but just try to balance between tennis and having a normal life, I guess, outside of that environment. As you well know, it's very different. So,
and why after playing, having a great career, why did you go into coaching? What is it about coaching that you love?
Yeah, look, I wrote a few notes down here just so that I could sort of try and answer these questions from you. But to me, actually, I think it comes very naturally to me as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always loved being on the court with kids, teaching them and so forth. And I think, I guess the experience of having a lot of coaches in the past, some fantastic coaches. I used to get coached by Terry Rockevert, if you knew that. He nearly beat McEnroe at Wimbledon, and he was the state coach at New South Wales. Obviously, my brother was a pretty good coach in New South Wales. Noel Callaghan with squads, was in all those squads. And, you know, I just love the idea of coaching and passing that knowledge on to young kids who really just love tennis as a sport, you know, not necessarily be number one in the world, but to just, I know that yourself would have got so much out of tennis, and it's not just tennis, it's other things. And I think it comes very naturally to me. I'm easily can get along with little kids, and just love that whole mentoring type role. So yeah,
you mentioned a lot of really good names in there, and you know, I think when you've got those sorts of people around you from a young age, you see tennis as so much fun. You look forward to coming to the court knowing you've got such great characters to be around. And I think it's so important how that shapes us and influences our career choices within tennis, because that's what you look forward to, is also seeing your coaches and being around great people. So it's great to hear that those people have sort of been in your life a little bit and shaped your love for coaching and probably tennis in general.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, even after stopping playing tennis, I did get into events, and Carol Langsford, who was our state selector back then, obviously she is highly in charity due to her daughter being very ill, and we got involved with her, and you know, she gave us an opportunity to do events for her and money for her charity, and we wouldn't have had that opportunity without that network of the amazing people that you meet around the world and who you grow up with and you respect in those times. So yeah.
And Cindy, I was going to ask you, what are your coaching goals and aspirations in coaching?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, no, there's four main points, I think, for me. It's just to make any student, being a beginner, a teenager, an adult, just to love and appreciate the game of tennis. I think there's so much more to tennis than you see than just watching the best players on television. Just to continue to challenge myself to create new fun ways to communicate with my students and teach them the best parts of tennis. Again, what I just said before, just pass on the knowledge that I've received from many coaches that I have had, many players that I've met, just watching, you know, obviously on television, getting all those comments, just passing on that knowledge. And just outside of tennis, just life lessons, self-improvement, development, teach what dedication and discipline really means. And just be able to handle situations that you can use tennis with, but also use that in the real world as well. So they're probably my goals that I try to achieve when I step on the court with all my students.
Cindy, a lot of players that played at both our age, around our age groups, they drop out of coaching, or they don't actually, if they do stay in coaching, aren't getting the opportunities to work with better players. And they've been highly accomplished players. I'm speaking specifically to female highly accomplished players. What do you think we can do about that? We need more women coaches in performance and senior roles.
Yeah, I think generally, as you said, it's just a tougher, we have a different sort of men and women as well, just have a different sort of career driven in terms of what we want to achieve when we coach. So, for me, when I started coaching, I did everything at New South Wales. I did management there. I know some friends, as you know, Brie Calderwood, she also helped with New South Wales, and she got helped to a certain point. And that's about it. And it is very discouraging. And I guess that's the reason why I kind of left the coaching part, because at the end of the day, they only saw us as being on the court with the kids, coaching, a little bit of managing as such, but none of the other really sort of the going out with the tournaments, really engaging female kids, like to really go, look, this is a place that you can be. We don't see it as that. And for whatever reason, I don't know, because I think I've had some experience with some boys, and there is a nurturing part of women that actually will help both boys and girls, but they don't see it that way. They always, girls should stick with girls and so forth. But in my experience, when they're very young, you need the female coaches sometimes more than the men. You need a combination of the both, and it's not just tennis. I think it's very stereotypical, and also at schools they think more female coaches more than men coaches. We know that we had someone like Murray who had his mum the whole way through, and then had Marismo. So I don't know. It's a hard one to say. It's not that they can't do it. I don't know if it's typically something they really want to do. It's a tough job to travel around the world. As you well know, I haven't done that, but I know what it's like. It's a hard yakka, especially, if you do have family, you've got your own work here, and, there's a lot of other things involved. I'm going to say this a little bit weirdly, but I think one of the best coaches is Roger Federer's wife. I think she's one of the best coaches ever. But it's not necessarily on the court.
Yes.
I think the women's place isn't really specifically coaching tennis, hitting, feeding balls. I think there's an area where the female coach, they need to see that they're a lot more, there's positive areas in the whole team of a tennis player. More than just the coach. So I think,
good point.
I think that's where there's that psyche of that a female tennis coach needs to do all of those things, but I think they're very good at a specific thing, and is it about having the right team.
I think my experience over the last few years has been, I haven't necessarily coached boys within the federation or anything like that, or even outside of federation time, but the one thing that's really interesting about boys and having a female coach on a duty of care tour or anything like that, they actually open up to you a lot about things that are going on in their life that you wouldn't think. They don't actually talk to about with maybe their own coach. Like, I had some interesting conversations in my time, and it's, you get on the court, and I never felt once disrespected by any of the boys that I've ever been on the court with, actually. And I think that's the one thing that, as a female coach, I agree with you. If that's what you value and that's your preference and that's where you want to go with coaching, I think definitely keep pursuing that, and surround yourself with people that you want to maybe gain a little more experience or knowledge with. But I, in my time, have actually never once been disrespected as a female coach on the court with boys. I think we play a pivotal role in young boys' lives on court as well. I think The young
Oh,
boys are
absolutely.
really close to their mums when they're young. You know, that's the thing we don't realise is they need that emotional support as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I don't know if you do know, but I started with Alex Dimino when he was 4.5, 5.
Really?
So I had him 3 days a week
Mhm.
with another 2 little kids. As I said, I'll send you some videos of me with
Please
him.
do. That'd be awesome.
And I got on very well with his mother. So when he gets on the court, you know, he doesn't see you as anyone except for that you love tennis. And
Yeah.
I think boys and girls are generally like that. And as long as you give, you know, you show that care for them, they're happy. I mean, I've got a lot of boys, actually. I've got a lot of boys in the ages of 11 through to 13 that I have. I happen to live across the road from a prominent boys' school in Sydney. So they all live in this area. So they just come across from school after. And I have them. And, you know, they're good kids. They listen to you. They're happy to see a different perspective from a male and female coach. Again, I'm very lucky. I work with my brother, so they get a bit of both. They have a bit of my brother who's very intense and tough, and then they've got me that's a little bit more nurturing, a bit more. I'm tough. Don't get me wrong. I'm very tough, but a little bit more nurturing and a little bit more like you can sort of just listen to them a little bit more. Where female coaches are concerned, I think it's not them doing the full job. I think for us to get into more prominent jobs, it's a team thing. So, and then once we get that, then maybe we can take the next step up. I think a lot of players and parents need to see the positive of having a female coach involved with their child, no matter if it's a male or female.
Very.
That there's something there, and then develop that way. I think that'll be the start of it.
I think it's certainly a great solution. Obviously, we did not know, the wider audience maybe did not know that Alex Demonar started with you as having a female coach in his life.
Yeah.
And that is very important that people know that kind of information. And now they're all going to know because it's going to be broadcast all over the place. Cindy, thank you so much.
I hope so.
Thanks for sharing some time with us. A couple of insights into your awesome coaching and playing journey. And we look forward to seeing you as soon as anyone lets us out of Melbourne.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Down the Line TV, Lisa D'Amelio Fitzgerald. How are you?
That's it. Yeah, I'm good. Just getting through to lockdown slowly.
Yeah, her basement's looking pretty good, isn't it? So
Yeah, pretty spiffo there, Demille. What's been happening with your life other than lockdown? Talk to us about the last couple of years with your tennis coaching and things like
Well, just recently surviving the homeschooling.
that.
The last couple of years, well, probably the last 5-6 years, has been focused on the Keysborough Tennis Club and building that up. More the admin side. So not as much on court besides clinics and meeting clients and a couple of privates, but a totally different role to when I started first coaching.
Yeah, it's still a pretty important role, Lisa. And I don't think a lot of people know this, Lisa, but you were actually one of the first coaches that worked with Destiny Iava
Yeah.
a long time ago. How old was Destiny at the time?
She would have kind of been the years from 7 to 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I think I'm still a PE teacher, and even when I was coaching her, and I think I focused a lot on education. I focused on their family and thought that was important. Tactics, how to play, and she had some help from TA in the early days with Bernard, and he was really good on the technique. So in my early days, I probably wasn't as strong on the technique, but I think I had other strengths. Yeah.
I mean, that's so important, isn't it? I mean, it's really great you bring that up because a lot of coaches probably wouldn't spend the amount of time working on those external things that are really important for an athlete, especially at that age. So that's great for sharing that with us, and pretty important to hear that.
Yeah.
And Lise, we wanted to ask you while we have you today is, why do you coach?
tennis is just in me. You just can't escape it. It's always in your mind, no matter what you're doing. You've got your family, you've got kind of your other job, you've got your friends, but tennis just, it never leaves you. So you just love it. You always want to get better. You want the people around you to be better.
Yeah.
You want people to love tennis like you do, but you know that's not possible.
No one loves it like Lisa D'Amelio.
Yeah, I know. So I think I'm always excited. I don't know, maybe it's contagious. It's rubbing off on some of my coaches, hopefully. But yeah, pretty obvious. Most people that are in this business love it. Otherwise, why would you? Yeah, you know.
Absolutely. Liz, we talked off camera a little bit about different things in coaching. Why do you think women aren't driven towards being tennis coaches?
I think they are maybe early on, but unfortunately, even from teenagers, the girls drop off compared to the boys. The boys will keep going, whereas the girls will kind of stop. So that's an issue that obviously we're working on. But also, once you're actually get your own family, you're looking at the hours of coaching is kind of after school.
Yeah.
Kind of your 3:30, you know, to your 7:30, 8 o'clock. So when you've got your own family, it doesn't work. So that's why I've taken a more of the admin role. It's because you just can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest barrier I'd say. And also kind of the job security with the sorry about that, Michael. That's my son.
Right.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so there's a case in point there. Yeah, yeah, that's it. So yeah, I think that's the main thing when you get to that. And also you might be interested in different careers. I've always loved teaching, PE teaching. So, you know, and you've got more security, you've got the holiday pay, you've got the school holidays paid, you've got, you know, just the real, the practical side of things you've got to weigh up. Yeah, but.
Yeah, it's a really important point. You know, we've sort of spoken to other coaches about this and the solutions around it. And I think it comes down to trying to provide like just little opportunities throughout the year. It might not be, you know, maybe where your stock standard kind of hours throughout the afternoons, but maybe it's, you know, taking a team away for a couple of nights, or being at a tournament for 1 or 2 days, or being part of some tournaments, or just creating opportunities throughout the year where the commitment isn't huge, but it's enough to keep you, I guess, growing as a coach and having something to look forward to other than just the regular, you know, afternoon coaching. Sometimes it can get stale, so having something to reach for.
Yeah, yeah, I think definitely, and a few little more opportunities during the day.
Yeah.
You know, when your kids are at school, you know, but obviously then you've got plays at school, so it's kind of
balancing act.
Yeah, that's it, the balance.
To me, that what we could focus on for women who are coaches is that we look more at that sort of the daytime stuff, and then we can focus on our women coaches being more engaged in performance. You see, the thing is, performance is much more flexible than those after school kids that are just coming for lessons. So it looks like we've got our industry for women completely upside down, and we should be looking for women to do more performance and less in that, let's say, babysitting kind of coaching role, and really put our women into the workforce in a way that works.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And it's just definitely a balancing act to try and fit everything in. I mean, I'm always open to opportunities, but I've also got to be realistic in those after school hours. I'm pretty much running my own kids around. I'm running the business. I'm meeting new clients. I'm still training my coaches, you know, so I'm pretty much, I'd say I'm more of a mentor, making sure that we're doing everything we can to provide the best service, and I think it's paying off. We're really building, you know, so there is a lot of satisfaction in building the people around me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So but I hear what you're saying, and I'm not against it. Definitely not.
Well, for it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Lisa, from this conversation, what are your coaching goals moving forward?
Yeah, my goals, I think we've got a lot of young kids, and often when they get quite at a good level, I'll often refer them on, because we haven't typically, focused on, we've been focused on kind of building from the ground up.
Yeah.
So I think my goals would be to kind of, in a year or so, keep those kids and make our own squads that are kind of that green ball beginner comp 10-year-old age group.
Yeah.
Because often, they're the ones who I refer on to other nearby kind of more high performance clubs. So I think I'm going to try and focus on keeping those, because we have small groups and we do a lot of privates, but we've got squads, but they're kind of the teenagers. Yeah. Different clientele. I think that's definitely a goal of mine, to focus on that 10-year-old age group. Yeah.
Yeah. Lisa, I honestly believe you could be absolutely anything that you wanted to be in coaching, and we're really proud of you, the business that you're growing, and you've put out some really interesting suggestions as to what we need to look at as an industry. How can we attract and retain female coaches in our sport? And we really thank you for sharing your time today with us.
No worries, guys.
Look forward to getting to see you soon. It's been too long.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Thanks, guys.
Welcome to Down the Line TV. Jessie Burbridge, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you. How are you guys?
We're doing all right.
We're great. We're still bubble buddies, 2 weeks in, and we're still each other's best mates. So yeah, you'd think after spending so much time together, we'd be sick of one another. But no, we're fine, thanks.
Yeah.
I know it's been tough during these times, so like hopefully you're all doing okay, and everyone that's watching this is doing good as well.
It's good. It's a good message, Jessie. It's important that we all stick together as a community, and that's one of the big reasons that we've been driven with this idea that Betty had, to reach out and touch base with all the female coaches out there, because there's a lack of visibility of female coaches. Why we wanted to chat to you today is just a few things about your coaching journey. First one, straight off the bat, from wherever you are right now as a coach, whatever you're doing, what is your long-term, like, lofty aspirations? If you could coach at X level or do whatever, what is your dream?
Okay, I actually love this question. For me, it's on a broader scale. It's about like increasing confidence and building life skills within individuals, regardless of age or where they're at tennis-wise. So I think if I'm working with a young child to maybe an older adult, it's about just having that relationship with them and just increasing like confidence and making them feel like they feel comfortable out on court. Yeah.
We love that, and again, we hear that a lot. It's great that you're thinking in that way. Jess, why do you coach?
Why do I coach? It's probably a bit of a cliche, but it's mainly, it makes me happy to make others happy. So like, I know that's a pretty obvious answer. An example is like, I have a 4-year-old boy, and he is just starting tennis, and I'm coaching him. Well, not really now because of COVID, but before I was coaching him, and knowing that I was building his foundations from the start and having such an impact on his life is just incredibly important to me. So yeah, it comes down to knowing that even though I'm still young and I've learned a lot from other coaches and older mentors, I still have that capability and ability to make a difference to someone else's life on and off the court.
Yeah. A lot of mentors are there to help us and support us and guide us. But there's also the responsibility of a governing body or the National Federation to assist our coaches to get to different stages, different levels of coaching and things like that. What sort of resources are you looking for from a governing body to help you get to wherever you go as a coach?
For me, it's just gaining experience and a broad range of knowledge from many different individuals. I think that's most important to me to grow as a tennis coach. Like, I am still young, but I do know you can learn so many things from so many different people. So just having that opportunity to experience and learn from people that are from all different aspects and walks of life. So yeah, male and female, it's really important for me to just learn and grow and experience from that knowledge.
Just on top of that answer is, how would you go about reaching out? Do you feel comfortable reaching out to some coaches within your coaching community and asking if you can jump on a court to say it's a high performance qualified coach who you would love to have more experience with? Do you feel quite confident and comfortable within yourself to reach out to those coaches and ask for maybe a bit of, maybe just watching their session, or they're mentoring you, or you're asking them questions? How do you feel about doing that?
So currently I'm working at Tennis World at NTC, and I'm one of the younger coaches there, but I have reached out and spoken to the senior coaches there and said, like, I'm definitely interested in learning from you, and they've taken that on board. I think one person is Sevi. Sevi, you had a conversation.
You know Sevi well.
Yeah, I watched the video. So yeah, I'm confident enough to go to those coaches, because I know that's the only way that I'm really going to grow as an individual, is learning from others and looking at like their different outlooks and takes on how they coach so that I can improve. So yeah, I definitely feel like I have confidence, but I do understand how people may be a bit shy and unwilling to kind of do that. So giving them maybe support is something that I would do to like my other young female coaches, or male as well.
Yeah. I think you answered our question about one of your favourite moments as a coach on the court when you're talking about working with the 4-year-old student. So I want to change direction and ask you a different question. How important is networking and community to you as a young coach, and how do you go about creating that?
For me, it's probably the most important. Well, not the most important, there's many aspects that are important, but it's really important just not networking with other coaches, but like networking and positive communication with your players and athletes, and maybe individuals that have never played tennis before. I think if we really want to make change within tennis and grow the sport, we have to be inclusive. Networking is so important, because if you don't, then you won't be able to get anywhere. But yeah, also with the inclusive argument, it's for something that's really important for me is bringing women, and especially young girls, into the sport. And I do know, as a 14-year-old player, there was so many tennis players, all of these girls, and then 15, 16, 17, they all started to drop off. But you look to the male side and most of them are still there. So yeah, for me, it's like keeping that network so that we as a collective feel comfortable enough to stay in the sport, but also bring others into sport, rather than focusing on just keeping people. Like, it's more about staying there and or welcoming people back. Yeah,
that's really super. I agree with you 100%. And I think it's good to hear your insights. And like I said, I didn't know who you were before this, so it's great to meet you and really understand where you're coming from. And all your points are super valid. And I want to say thank you so much for coming and joining us today and taking out your time to give us some of your insights into your goals and aspirations. We wish you all the very best, and hope to see you around once restrictions ease.
Thank you for having me, guys. Look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Down the Line TV, Madison Sanders.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. And how's your Saturday afternoon looking?
Yeah, look, the sun's out a lot better than the last few days, so hopefully good.
This is a time where we can learn a lot about how we can advance as an industry. What we wanted to ask you straight off the bat is, from where you are now and where you want to go as a coach, what are you looking to achieve as a coach along your journey?
What am I hoping to achieve? Look, just every time I step on court, I just want to bring some energy, passion, and try and keep kids and introduce the sport to more players, and keep them in the sport and get them excited about the game.
Any kind of high performance aspirations, or you like to work with the younger ones?
Look, I do do a lot of hot shots, but I've also been doing a fair bit of wheelchair tennis stuff and blind tennis stuff, and I've been I've started to gain a real passion for that side of tennis as well.
Yeah, Mads, I've seen you around for many years now at Tennis World at Melbourne Park, and you do a fantastic job with all the kids, and it's great to see you amongst a few other females there. I've seen you on the court with wheelchair tennis, blind tennis, which I've been really fascinated to watch some of those lessons. Do you feel like that's the area you're mainly more interested in moving forward?
Well, look, I do love hot shots, and I think it's very rewarding when you get a kid to love the sport and get them excited to come to the lesson every week. But the wheelchair tennis stuff, like I said, I've really enjoyed it, and it's just a whole different side of the tennis coaching that, I hadn't normally done. So I am really, really enjoying that side of it.
And why do you coach, Maddie?
Everyone, like probably all coaches, they say they love the game, but to give that to other kids and players and see kids and players gain confidence and passion for the sport, I think that's probably why I keep going back to the court every time.
What do you feel like you need to continue to grow as a coach?
Well, look, I have just had a little girl, so I'm trying to navigate that space at the moment. But I think just maybe with female coaching as well, you do tend to get slapped with a label like you're a hot shots coach or you're a high performance coach or whatnot. And I think for me, just to be able to diversify a little bit and have a go at all different sides of coaching.
Yeah, it's a really good point. What would support look like? I mean, you've got the idea. You might want to look at different things. What do you need as a coach to make those things happen? What sort of resources do you think?
I think it's opportunity. And whether that be creating it for yourself and going and shadowing coaches or watching videos and whatnot. But just, I don't know, maybe a bit more freedom and maybe a bit more, I don't know, just to be kind of welcomed into different spaces of coaching.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's a really good word. That's a great answer.
Getting welcomed into an environment that maybe you're uncomfortable with or that you haven't experienced before, and just the feeling of, hey, I belong here, and thanks for seeing me, basically, and just acknowledging that you're another coach in the community and you're willing to learn. And I've seen that passion with you on the court. If you could close us out with, what is one of the most memorable moments for you as a coach that you've had?
Not an easy question, but I would say at the end of last year, I was given an opportunity to travel with a group of wheelchair players, blind and visually impaired players to Perth, and we went and watched the Fed Cup final and got on court every day with those players. And I just think it was such a cool space for those girls to rub shoulders with the best and the best, and being able to work as a female team as well, all female coaches and whatnot. I think that was pretty cool.
I think it's a feeling where everybody feels like they're part of it, that bigger collective, that the coaches don't feel like they're on the outside. And us as an industry, if we can bring all the women coaches together and create that community, that unity, so many more women coaches will thrive when they feel supported and they feel part of it. And we know that you as a new mum are going to need lots of sort of support and resources to make sure you can navigate balancing work and family life together. And I think that's what we need to put forward. So Maddie, it's great to get a couple of great answers from you. We know you got a lot on your plate, so we hear a little bit of a clang in the background. So we'll back to your day, and best of luck with your coaching journey, and thanks for sharing your time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Welcome to Down the Line TV, Zara Nelson.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. You're currently in the ACT, right?
Yeah, I'm down here in Canberra, living the life.
Living the life. Good old Canberra. We love Canberra.
I love that.
Oh, yeah,
One of the things we wanted to ask you is, what are some of your long-term coaching goals? Not what you want to achieve on the court on a day-to-day basis, but where you could see yourself in which kind of roles in the future.
I really see myself with coaching as I want to be there to inspire people to continue playing the sport, because I study physio at uni. So I'm really into the health side and all of that, long-term health and all of that. So I just want to inspire people to keep playing their whole lives, because it's a great sport.
What about yourself in your career? What level of players do you want to coach?
I actually really enjoy coaching the youngest players, if I'm honest. I like seeing their first experiences on the tennis court and getting them to like really enjoy playing tennis and coming back each term to learn more.
Would you ever consider yourself coaching more into the high performance stream?
Yeah, I'd totally be willing to give it a go. I haven't done too much of it as of yet. I've started mainly with the youngest players, but like totally open to trying new things and see where it all goes, I guess.
Yeah. What would you need for you to go from where you are to where you would be coaching high performance players? What sort of resources to help you grow as a coach?
I mean, here in the ACT, we have, while there are some development coaching opportunities, it's harder to get into those opportunities. So I know where I'm currently working, we're like working on having more opportunity to develop, and we've got new people coming in teaching us new stuff. So just kind of continuing to grow on that. Because yeah, there's not as many opportunities as if you're in like Sydney or Melbourne. There'd be nothing at the moment, but like normally Melbourne, yeah, like we just don't have as many resources down here in Canberra.
Yeah, which is really important, isn't it? To, you know, obviously trying to keep expanding the smaller states and giving them opportunities as they can. And which obviously go on to find out, why do you coach?
I mean, I grew up playing tennis. I quit playing competitively when I was like 16-ish, but I was that player that wanted to keep training and keep going on. And so I kind of want to instill that in others. Like there are limited opportunities when you stop playing competitively. Yeah. And I want those opportunities to be there for other people, because that's something I didn't really have. And yes, I went into coaching, but I wish there was more avenues for people like me who didn't want to go off to like the US or become pro, but still just love the sport. So I want to give those opportunities back to others.
Yes, sensational.
As a coach on court, what is one of your favourite coaching memories, something that stands out in your mind that you've really enjoyed?
For me, I don't think there's like one particular moment, but I love each year around like winter time. So when it's getting really cold in Canberra, and having the kids come back. So we do have a lot of kids who drop out of tennis when it's cold because the parents don't want to stand around anymore. And I love that time of year. You see the ones that actually love tennis come back each year. Yeah.
We want to thank you for coming on and sharing your journey so far, and obviously get to know who you are. And like I said, I didn't know who Zara Nelson was, so it's been absolutely fantastic opportunity to get to know you. And thank you so much for taking your time out to talk to Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to meet you, Zara. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.